Come on. Hi, I'm Yoshi on the go. Welcome to the channel, my fellow Fortnite loopers. Today I want to talk about Unreal Engine for Fortnite, or in short UEFN, which is how I will be referring to it. It's only been out for a couple weeks and already I'm blown away and also kind of depressed by all the amazing things that all these creators are doing with this engine, I guess. In this video and in a new series of videos, I wanted to help you get a handle of the basics of UEFN and to help you create amazing things, mainly starting a new project, choosing terrain, mouse controls, sculpting and editing, as well as painting. Very simple, very basic, but boy was I lost for the first 3 or 4 days. So let's begin. Well, to start things off, I guess, pretty obviously, we are going to open UEFN. I've got it here pinned to my dock. The good news about UEFN is that it's completely free to download. Just head over to the Epic Game Store, and hopefully your computer's new enough to at least run it on a basic level like mine is. Here's what I've been working on. We're going to start a new project by File, New Level, or just Control-N. It's a pretty standard Windows feature, I think. We're just going to hit blank. Alright, first I want to talk about controls really quick, and here we are on our island. To look around, you click the right mouse button right here, and just look around. Pushing away from you looks up, pulling the mouse towards you looks down, left goes left, right goes right. It's as if you're directing the camera through the mouse. Also, while right-clicking, you can do the standard WASD to move around, W to move forward, S to move backward, A to the left, D to the right. Also, Q and E to go up and down. So again, holding the right mouse button, tap on Q to go down, tap on E to go back up. So now you can look around everywhere, you can move around everywhere, and change your elevation too. That took me 2 days to figure that out. And now you know, because it is actually moving quite fast. You can see in the top corner of the screen right here, we got this camera speed. Now this top slider is the basic speed of how fast or how slow you want your camera to go. A smaller number will be a little bit slower if you want to be a little more precise. This scalar to increase camera movement range, so this is a more granular control over the camera speed. So say we have it on a level 3, do you want that to be a really fast level 3, or a medium level 3, or a slow level 3? Alright, next up, some simple object controls. For example, if we click this spawner and you click F, and you zoom in right to where the spawner is. You can also see this over here on the right side, player spawn 1, player spawn 2. And say I'm really far away, I can't see it, but if I can pull it up right here on the spawner pad, I can double click it, and I zoom in right to the object that I want to go check out and manipulate. So let's talk about manipulating the objects. Again, we'll press F because we have it selected. You've got 3 basic ways to manipulate objects. And again, we're going up to the top right of the corner. And those basic ways are to move objects, rotate objects, and scale the objects. You can see at the end here, the parentheses R, E, and W. So these are the keyboard shortcuts to these actions, conveniently right where your fingers already are. So if I want to move an object, we can click move. Got the blue, goes up, and then red, and then there's green. Another thing you can try, see this white dot right here? That white dot will move everything in any axis. So say you have like a ledge, you can just grab that white dot and yoink it to, say, right there. Instead of taking minutes and minutes and minutes, just up a little bit, over a little bit, up a little bit, back a little bit, forward a little bit, up a little bit. Ah, there, perfect. You can grab the white dot and just drag it there immediately. So that's pretty nice. Then as you can imagine, the rotation does the similar thing. We click the rotation up here in the top right. Blue will rotate it this way, red rotates it this way, and green rotates it this way. It's all graphical, it's all very easy to understand. And then the final way to manipulate objects is to scale them. Most objects only scale up to 5x, but some things are infinite, which is kind of fun to play around with. You could, for instance, just scale the height. The red will stretch out the width, and then the green will stretch out the depth. Just like the movement tool, you can click this white cube in the middle and stretch out all 3 of the axes at the same time. Now, since your fingers are already right here on WASD, it's actually way easier just to remember the keyboard shortcuts, W, E, and R. So I can click W to quickly, oh, we're auto-saving. Why don't we save really quick? Let's call this _map. So we can just easily click W and say I want to move it down here somewhere. You can click E to rotate it. Let's have the guy turning away from us. You can click R to change the scale. There is no need to go all the way up to that graphical interface. There is the keyboard shortcut, but the buttons are there just in case you want to use them. Whew, all right. That seemed like a lot, but it's actually quite simple, and you'll pick it up in just a couple minutes, I promise. So now let's make a new terrain. All right, now to do that, we're gonna get rid of Pride Rock for now. So the first step is we're gonna come up to the top left corner here, where we've got the 4 basic creation modes of UEFN. By default, we're on selection, but we're going to click landscape, and of course, right to the right, we see the keyboard shortcut, Shift 1, 2, 3, and 4 to swap between these 4 creating modes. So let's do landscape. We can do a lot of basic things with this terrain as well, such as making the elevation a little bit higher, as well as rotating it and scaling it, but don't worry about that just yet. We're going to cover that in a couple of episodes and why you might want to do that. For now though, let's go ahead and drag this up just a little bit so we have some depth to build some rivers and lakes and oceans and stuff later on. So right over here, the section size, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's how big you want this new bit of section to be. So it can be really big or a little bit smaller if you wanted to have a smaller biome within this world. I think the default of 63 by 63 is totally fine. And you can also use these sliders to change the size of the map. As for the material, we'll just do this basic default landscape, but you can choose others. Now just click create. And boom, just like that, we have an island to start making. Really quickly though, we're gonna go back to selection and we're gonna bring up both player spawns. If you hold the shift button, you can select multiple options and manipulate all the objects or actors at the same time. So we're just gonna bring these up to ground level. Let's talk about sculpting and editing. This is easily my favorite part of UEFN. Just the raw power that you have at your fingertips is amazing. Let's go over a few controls really quick. We've got all of these options: sculpt, erase, smooth, flatten, ramp, erosion, hydro, noise, visibility, mirror, select, and copy. We're not gonna go over all of those today because some of those like mirror, select, and copy, I don't even know what those do, so don't worry about those yet. We're gonna stick with sculpt. There's a couple of different brush types. We're gonna leave it on the default. And then there's a couple of different brush fall offs. It's gonna be a smooth fall off, more of a kind of a sharp plateau. Got this spherical fall off as well as a tip fall off for like sharp rocks and islands and stuff. Let's just do the smooth fallout for now. Also very important is to select this tool strength. That's how quickly the environment reacts to your click, as well as the brush size and the fall off. So the brush size, pretty self-explanatory how big the brush is. You can also, if you want to be really precise, you can click it and type in a custom number, just like that. And the brush fall off also changes kind of the sensitivity of the brush. So if you have a bigger brush fall off, you see this circle right here in the middle gets a little bit smaller. If you can imagine like a gradient. So the middle of the circle will be the most intense, whereas the farther you get to the outside radius, the weaker the effect is. You can also manipulate the brush size by using the left and right bracket keys on your keyboard. All right, this is the exciting part. Let's get creating. It's pretty simple. In the sculpt option, you left click to sculpt. The longer you stay there, the more the geometry sculpts. Say you sculpted just a little bit too much. No worries, hold the shift key. And you can bring some of that back down, just like that. So let's use my brackets to make this huge. Whoa, that's maybe a little bit too big. So you have this larger mountain range. Like a path. Nice lovely path. Well, all right. How about that? That's our custom terrain. Like, look, we just made that in like 10 seconds. That's pretty amazing. Honestly, the best way you can learn is just to click everything and see what happens. So for example, erase is kind of an extreme form of sculpting with the shift key pressed. It just quickly erases it back to ground zero. The smoothing paintbrush does exactly what you think it does. Let's zoom in here. Say we have this sharp terrain. We can just paint over it and just kind of erode it and smooth it out and make it look nice and natural. And this rock, you gotta smooth that down. It also does really well to blend in edges. One of my favorite brushes is probably the flatten brush. Whatever the elevation of the cursor where you start as, you click there and everything will be flattened and be completely flat to that level. This is a great option if you want to put some buildings down or have like some vehicle spawners or something like that. That's a pretty harsh edge and I actually quite like that look, but say for instance, we can come over here and smooth that out, make a nice walkable ramp. Speaking of ramps, that's exactly what this ramp button does. We click here, we click there, we click enter, and boom, just like that, we've got a nice ramp. We'll click this arrow to move it back a bit. We'll click the circle to just move it anywhere. Let's move it over here. Click enter again, and boom, there's another ramp. Now we can again click the smoothing button to smooth it out if we want to. and make a nice, natural, eroded ramp, just like that. Now say for instance, I really like that rock look on the side. Well, guess what? Freaking finally, UEFN has an undo button. And it's just how you'd expect, Control Z. So click Control Z, you'll think for a minute, Control Z again, and it'll clip, and just like that, boom, perfect. That's also very useful if you accidentally delete something, or if you're trying some new sculpting techniques and you're not feeling it, so just tap Control Z a couple times to go back to where you started from. Oh dear, we crashed. Crap. You do want to save your project from time to time. Control S does that really quickly. I'm also doing this on a Mac on Boot Camp, so I think that might have something to do with performance. All right, let's see how much time we lost. Oh, look at that. No time at all. So UEFN will actually autosave every few minutes, so you don't really have to worry too much, but if you just do some huge big sculpting thing, you just quickly tap that Control S and you're good to go. All right, my fellow loopers, we're almost done with this video. We got one more thing to show you, and that is painting. So again, come up here to the top left, go to landscape. So again, we've got these 3 tabs within landscape, the manage tab, the sculpting, and now paint. Paint is very easy to understand what that does. It just paints the land. We have these 6 basic substrate blends. You just need to know the tool strength, the brush size, and the brush fall off. None of these are really descriptive, so let's just paint and see what we get. Just kind of brush up that dirt path and make it even a little bit smaller than that. And again, if you don't like the look of that, just Control Z and start again. Looks like we've got this more muddy layer. Yeah. Next up, looks like we got a sand. So this is perfect if you got a lake or a river or the ocean. You can paint the sand along the waterfront. Looks like this one is kind of a gravelly asphalt look. So you can have gravel trails. We're also going to use this to blend in the roads in the next video. Oh, this one's a nice one, kind of like a rocky, weedy look. And then last but not least, layer 6. Just pure rocks. Say I want to go up to the top of this mountain here. Let's go ahead and brush this rock layer, make it a little bit bigger. Just like that. Maybe this area right here is kind of like a muddy water collection area that gets wet sometimes. And just like that, we're done with our first basic tutorial of UEFN. So to quickly recap, starting a new project, working those mouse and keyboard video controls, choosing a terrain, sculpting, editing, and painting. It's very exciting stuff. So everyone, go away, go make great things, but don't go too far away, because in the next video, we're going to talk about roads, rivers, caves, tunnels, splines, and make some great stuff. I'm Yoshi on the go. This is my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that it helped you get a good, simple kickstart to your creative journey with UEFN. We'll see you in the next video.